because your mind is so quick to like get to the important details, you're actually skipping past things your heart wants. You're not law of attracting men with the qualities that your heart is looking for. You're basically attracting men that are of the qualities your mind is familiar with really quickly. Yeah.
Good morning, my friend, and welcome now to Thursday. Well, down the rabbit hole we go. A vortex opens today, and you might wake up tomorrow on another planet. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your Thursday Namaste today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a satisfying way to start each day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Chris Witecki. I work in the modality of psychic astrology, and I'm on a personal mission of love and light to help raise the vibration on Earth. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaste. And welcome now to the vortex. By vortex, I mean the sun is opposing Neptune for the next 2 days, and this opposition puts the Earth in the center. I believe this is a dimensional shift. In other words, people are being spiritually promoted or demoted or kept at the same grade. So literally, the actions you take in the next 24 hours, I believe, will shift your dimension. But before we talk about little tips on this acid trip, let's first take a look at the zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is for Thursday, September 1st, 2016. Looking ahead at the 5-day moodcast. Tomorrow promises to be cloudy and a bit bizarre as we pass through the eye of the vortex. Saturday will be sunny and restored to balance. And Sunday will be sunny and delightful. But today I predict sunny and aggressive. In fact, be careful. People might be just a little snarky. Now, the Great Human Walk has reached step 9 Virgo today. That means the ruling channel is channel 9, I act, I am. And that means the ruling planet is Mars. Now, our emotional focus is nitpicky and hypercritical. The moon has now moved into Act 2 of Virgo, and our intellectual focus is reconsidering what we should manifest as we're in Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is also conjuncting Jupiter. So this is like a quantum retrograde. And with the clock ticking to the new reality, I really thought the best thing I could do was give you Sensei's tips to what I call an acid trip. But before we do that, grab yourself some tea and let me share with you a psychedelic tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is down the rabbit hole. I'm going to explain to you what I mean by a holy dimensional shift. Now, it begins today, as I mentioned already. We take action and start to move down this rabbit hole. I call it a vortex. What it is, in my opinion, is a dimensional shift. And we can talk forever about dimensions and things like that, but astrologically, I believe I've learned where these shifts happen, and it comes from lots of things adding up. One of the important ingredients of a dimensional shift is retrograde energy. All right, so when energy is retrograde, people are more impressionable, and people take different changes in their life because they're looking at things kind of inside out, or the energy and forces of karma are quiet at the moment. So when the energy and forces of karma are quiet in a lot of planets, then you can easily dimensionally shift the character almost. It's like because they're not really holding on so hard. So we have Mercury retrograde today, we have Pluto retrograde, we have Uranus retrograde. These planets are very powerful planets, and most importantly, Neptune is retrograde because Neptune is in the opposition of the sun, which is what opens up the vortex. So the planet that the sun is dancing with is retrograde. And not only is that planet retrograde, but that planet is in its own sign. So Neptune is the ruler of connecting the spirit. So Neptune is in the sign of Spirit retrograde, and that basically is the pearly gates are open, okay? So it all lines up astrologically. Now, what do I mean literally in one's life? Well, in your story, I believe a vortex shift is a spiritual promotion. A spiritual promotion. That's different from an earth promotion, like a salary or a job or something like that. Spiritual means it happens in your spirit, and it takes a while, usually, for you to notice it in the world, but you notice it in your spirit and you know it's coming. One thing I've noticed is that everyone goes through dimensional shifts at the same time. And after this shift, many stories part ways. Many, because the soul comes to a realization that they want to move this way, and that soul decides they want to move that way. And each party makes that quiet spiritual decision, and eventually the relationship begins to erode and break apart. So, but this is, like I said, I believe that we are beginning the story we're born to live, with Mars and Saturn and Sagittarius at this stage of the cycles and circles. And so I believe this dimensional shift is pretty much the spiritual promotion necessary for whatever it is your destiny is. So on a certain spiritual level. Let me give you a couple of examples of spiritual levels and promotions. Like, people live in suffering for a long time until they learn they don't have to. That's a spiritual promotion. A soul will think it has to suffer and then it realizes it doesn't. Another dimensional shift usually is when you're 180 degree of the situation. Because of the cycles and circles of cause and effect and the planets, if you do something here, you will experience it here on the other side. So like if you were an abuser, you might experience getting abused before you can come full circle to understanding why one should not be abuser. So a lot of times a dimensional shift is from here to here, not just up. So in the next 36 hours, I think everyone on the earth will go through a dimensional shift. And adding up all the planets, I just want to put out there, kind of logically, at least where to aim inside yourself with this shift, I think one of the biggest things is Uranus and Aries retrograde, because I think one thing people have a pretty strong vision of is, being the direction that they're going forward, and that's Aries. So Uranus has been innovating how high we are as a human and how much of a man or woman we are and what actions we take or don't take. So whatever this dimensional shift is, it's about to happen. In the best way, if you're being promoted and going higher, then that means that spiritually it's now time to move up to the man or woman that you are trying to become. In other words, it's time to shift your spirit up to as if you've worked your whole life to be strong and not worry. Well, it's now time to move your soul up to being strong and officially not worrying all the time instead of striving for that. So you spiritually bring your spirit up there. Now, I think our spirits move in that direction. So one of the clues is it's definitely the character you're meant to be, this dimensional shift. It's who you've meant to be in this life. So your heart might know who you're meant to be. And so this dimensional shift is definitely in that direction, says Uranus retrograde. This is also a dimensional shift that it's in accordance with your beliefs. That's another clue. So if you don't believe in what's about to happen or believe in where you're going, you're not going in the right direction. Mars and Saturn and Sag direct say what you believe is moving forward. We're not retrograding or going back or second guessing that whatsoever. We're moving direct in that. Pluto in Capricorn says when it comes to control issues, wherever you're going, you should be over the control issues. Okay, and that's because Pluto's in Capricorn at step 15. So another clue to this new dimension, no control issues, or at least when I say no control issues, I mean none of the control issues you've been grappling with since you were born. These would be new control issues you find out later, you know what I mean, but not the old control issues. So that's another clue. So it's the new man or woman you are. It is what you believe in. It is without control issues, all right? And, Neptune in Pisces itself literally is, and this is where I get the bright star, the story you were born to live. Because Neptune is literally channeling in this vortex, your highest self is coming down and saying, hi. And your highest self is the one that planted this chess game, that put it into motion. And so to have a concert with that really is the promotion. In some cases, we get caught in the mind, we get caught in the ego, and we forget we were meant to go way up. So this is one of those shifts where our soul literally is pulling us up. So I believe in the next 36 hours or so, you're going to feel inside, especially with Mercury retrograde on top of that, that your spirit has changed about something. You'll feel it inside yourself. And if you care to share, I'd love for you to leave what's going on my website at SeriousStory.tv. I appreciate it because we can all learn from each other. All right, so good luck on your acid trip. And I am going to now channel for you a megascope. And this is my guides talking with the planets to kind of give you a little advice on their perspective of what's about to happen. So Spirit is interesting in how they kind of put this forward, in the sense of, really, honestly, a lot of the work has been done. You want to let gravity do the work for you. So what Spirit was showing me is, it's not that we promote ourselves, as I've been describing so far, as much as we let go of our lower stuff. So from this perspective, they're saying, today the action you take isn't to go higher, it's to dump off the lower and leave it behind forever. Which, as always, Spirit always shows me a different perspective when I look into Spirit. Now, I have some right brain perspectives here to help you with an acid trip checklist. First, a little checklist. And by I mean my acid trip, I mean, if you find yourself, in the next 3 days, like, I don't know who I am, I don't know what my life's about, oh my God. Like, it's one of those like things, you're like, what am I tripping? Like, what's going on? Dimensional vortex shift, okay. Your whole self is getting ready to let go of something. So here's the checklist. Number 1. Who are you? So remember who you are and what your heart is in your heart. Go back to who you are. That is what's going to remain constant. Step 2. What do you believe is happening or should happen now? What do you believe your story is next? Because belief is a big part of where we're going. And step 3, how do you want to feel when you arrive? So if you know nothing else about changes, tell the universe how you want to feel next in your spiritual promotion, and Spirit will get it. Now, for those watched over my personal Sensei service, today I'm going to give you a little pep talk on the power of step 28. And this is actually because Mercury is retrograde on Jupiter 28, so I want to describe in greater detail how I think you should be mindful in this vortex shift. And at 3 o'clock, your eye candy, I'll talk about where precisely your rainbow vortex is set up between what 2 parts of your life. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, be kind and do subscribe. I thank you ahead of time. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on the handle of CWateki. And if you'd like a little Sensei assistance to become the bright star you truly are, come on down to SeriousJoy.tv. I sell readings, and I have a personal Sensei service that is absolutely outstanding, an Age of Aquarian. Come on down. All right, friend, we'll take the necessary actions to drop your heavy load today, and Sensei will see you in 24 hours with more. Remember, I love you, and live, love, be.